Hi, this is Ridea Keeping It Real, and we are reading through the Bible using the Good News Bible. We're still in the Apocrypha books. We are up to Bel and the Dragon. We're up to Bel and the Dragon, and this is one of those books that is about the Daniel. The book of Daniel was taken out of the book of Daniel. It was not taken out, but included in the Greek version of the book of Daniel. Um, it's very interesting. I've read it before, kind of like Baruch. I've read it before, but I'm going to go ahead and read it on camera. I'm going to read some of the notes that I have about it. That this is about how false systems work and how they collapse once exposed. And it's about unmasking false gods, false leaders, and false systems and surviving the backlash. I guess this portion right here is about religious systems can survive for generations on lies if no one questions them. And one of my other notes here. So living systems of power are still not divine. Fear does not equal authority. And truth tellers are punished before they're vindicated. Looks like I did color one picture. That's interesting. And why it was removed or minimized. So it teaches people how to test religious authority. We're already there as an Israelite community. We've already gone through the church system and out of it. It shows that priests are thieves. We kind of know the pimps in the pulpit. It frames the empire's religion as deliberate deception. And it's unfortunate that some people are behind in learning this, but they're seeing it now, where people are using the cross and Christ, but they're not doing anything that so-called Jesus would do. It empowers the people to see through systems. And here we go. Bel and the Dragon. Introduction. Bel and the Dragon consists of two stories, which were added to the Greek translation of the book of Daniel. It first tells of Daniel's wisdom and courage in revealing the falseness of the idol, Bel, and the second describes how he destroyed a dragon which was worshipped by the Babylonians. And here's the outline. Daniel's wisdom defeats the priest of Baal. Daniel kills the dragon, and Daniel is rescued from the pit of the lions. Here we go. Daniel and the priest of Baal. After the death of King Astyages, Cyprus of Persia took over his kingdom. Daniel was one of King Cyprus' closest companions, and the king thought more highly of Daniel than any other of his advisors. The Babylonians had an idol called Bel. Each day, the people had to provide Bel with an offering of 12 bushels of fine flour, 40 sheep, 50 gallons of wine. King Cyprus believed that Bel was a god, and each day he used to go and worship it. But Daniel worshipped his own God. One day the king asked Daniel, "Why don't you worship Bel?" Daniel answered, "I do not worship idols made with human hands. I worship only the living God, who created heaven and earth, and is the most high of all mankind." "And don't you believe that our God Bel is really alive?" asked the king. "Haven't you seen how much he eats and drinks each day?" Daniel laughed and said, "Don't be fooled, your majesty. This god you call Bel is nothing more than a clay covered with bronze. It has never eaten or drunk anything." At this, the king became angry and called in all 70 of the priests of Baal. He said to them, "I warn you that you will be put to death unless you show me that it is Baal who is eating these offerings. If you prove to me that it is Baal, then I will have Daniel put to death for claiming that Baal is not a god." Daniel agreed to this proposal. Then they all went to the king Then they all went with the king into Bel's temple, where the priest said to the king, "Your Majesty, we will go out and let you place the food on the table and prepare the wine. When you leave, you may lock the door behind you and seal it with the royal seal. In the morning when you return, if you find that Bel has not eaten everything, you can put us to death. But if he has, Daniel will die for making false accusations against us." But the priests were not worried because they had made a secret entrance underneath a table in the temple so that they could go in every night and eat the offerings. When the priest had left, the king set out the food for Bel. Then Daniel ordered his servants to bring some ashes and scatter them all over the floor of the temple, so no one except the king saw them do this. After that, they all went out, locked the door, sealed it with the royal seal, and left. That night, as usual, the priests with their wives and children came to the temple by the secret entrance and ate all the food and drank all the wine. Early the next morning, it's the picture. Wow. Early the next morning, the king and Daniel went to the temple. The king asked, "Have the seals been broken, Daniel?" "No, your majesty, they have not been broken," he replied. As soon as the door was opened, the king saw the empty table and shouted, "You are great, O Bel! You really are God!" But Daniel began to laugh and said to the king, "Before you enter the temple, look at the floor and tell me whose footprints you see there." "I see the footprints of men and women and children," said the king. And he became so angry that he had the priests and their families arrested and brought to him. They showed him the secret doors through which they had come in each night to eat the food placed on the table. So the king had the priests put to death, and he gave Bel to Daniel, who destroyed the idol and tore down its temple. Okay, wow. For those of you who are listening to my voice right now, and you are going to church on Sunday, I want you to go back and listen to that story again. Because in your churches, there are back doors. There are doors underneath the table. And you know it. Be honest with yourself. Just be honest with yourself. That's all. Just be honest with yourself. You don't have to change anything. Just be honest with yourself. Next, Daniel kills the dragon. There was also a huge dragon, which the Babylonians worshiped. One day the king said to Daniel, "You can't tell me that this God is not alive, so worship him." "I worship the Most High," replied Daniel. "He is the only living God. And if your majesty will give me permission, I will kill this dragon of yours without using a sword or a club." "You have my permission," answered the king. So Daniel took some tar, some fat, and some hair and boiled them all together. He made cakes out of the mixture and fed them to the dragon. When the dragon ate them, it swelled up and burst open. "That's the kind of thing you Babylonians worship," said Daniel. When the people of Babylon heard what had happened, they staged an angry demonstration against the king. "The king has become a Jew," they shouted. "First he destroyed Bel and slaughtered the priest, and now he has killed our dragon." They went to the king and demanded that Daniel be handed over to them. "If you refuse," they warned the king, "we will put you and your family to death." When the king saw that they meant what they said, he was forced to hand Daniel over to them. The men threw him in a pit of lions, where they left him for 6 days. There were 7 lions in the pit, and normally they were fed 2 men and 2 sheep each day. But they were given nothing to eat during these 6 days in order to make sure that Daniel would be eaten. Daniel was rescued from the pit of the lions. At that time, the prophet Habakkuk was in the land of Judah. He had cooked a stew and crumbled bread into it. He was carrying a bowl of it to the men who were out in the fields harvesting grain, when an angel of the Lord spoke to him. Take the food you are carrying and give it to Daniel, who is in Babylon, in a pit of lions. Habakkuk answered, Sir, I have never been to Babylon, and I don't know where the pit of lions is. So the angel grabbed the prophet by the hair and took him to Babylon with the speed of the wind. Wow. And that says, with the speed of the wind or the power of his spirit. And that's in Ezekiel 8:3. Oh. He set him down near the pit of the lions. Habakkuk called out, Daniel, Daniel, God has sent you some food. Here, take it. When Daniel heard Habakkuk, he prayed, God, Most High, you did remember me. You never abandoned those who love you. Then he got up and ate the meal, and God's angel immediately took Habakkuk home. 7 days after Daniel had been thrown to the lions, the king went to the pit to mourn for him. When he got there, he looked in. There sat Daniel. The king shouted, Oh, Lord, the God of Daniel, how great you are. You alone are God. So he pulled Daniel out of the pit and had the men who had tried to kill Daniel thrown into it, and the lions ate them immediately while the king watched. Oh, again, very quick reading, under 12 minutes, super powerful. Super. Just, what are you going to read like that? Tell me. Tell me. This is gold, actually, I guess. This is, what did he say? He said it was it bronze? It's a bronze. It's bronze. Oh, I mean, wow. That's Daniel in the lion's den. That's how he ended up in the lion's den. Because he was exposing all these lies that people were believing. Right? And like I said, it's not easy. And I don't even try to convince people of anything, honestly, anymore. I used to. Like, look at this video, or look at this verse, or whatever. I don't do any of that at all. Because some people are not ready. They're not ready. And if you're not ready and you're not called, it's not even worth it. I mean, God's going to bring you. He's going to open you up when you're ready. And if you're called. And if you're not, okay, you're not. It just is what it is. That's the way I see it. There's no use. We're not at a place anymore of trying to convince people. I'm not, at least. Trying to convince people of anything. You're trying to convince people of anything. This is, you have to study to serve yourself approved. That's in the description of my page here on YouTube. This is on you. I'm not going to be there when you die and whatever happens after you die. You're not going to be there when I die and whatever happens after I die. But I do know this. If you're listening to this, you could be listening to anything else in the world if you got this far. If you care enough, there's something about it where this is important to know these things and to be able to take them into your day and realize that not much has changed. Look at all this. Look at all this stuff. All this, what was it, wine and what did they have to bring? They had to bring, it was just crazy. What did they have to bring? Remember it said they had to bring so much. They had to bring each day, the people had to provide Baal with offerings of 12 bushels of fine flour. That must be the flour. 40 sheep somewhere, and 50 gallons of wine. And then the priest would come and take that. Their families would come and take it. And what kind of devilish thing is that? But it's not much different than today. There's no way. I mean, I haven't been in a church in a long time, but I remember going. And quote unquote tithing $100 a week, right? I remember that. And then I remember going to other people's churches and there was music and fanfare when you gave and give, and God's gonna shake it over and bring it down and give you more, whatever, all that stuff they were saying. And you just thought, yes, I'm giving because I need to get back because I got to pay my rent and put gas in the car. And oh Lord, I know I'm doing the right thing. You are doing this. Right? Yeah, you're doing this. You are putting your money on this table thinking it's going to this God, but it's not. It's going to the preacher and his family and his putting gas in his car. I don't care. Hey, say what you want. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. This is what's happening. It's no different than what's happening today. It's no different. But you got to wake up to that. You can, I mean, trust and believe. I understand. I thought I was right many a times in my life. Many times. I may be wrong right now, but I'm growing. And that's what people should do, is challenge systems. Challenge them. Look at it for what it is. Challenge them, right? There we go. Bill and the Dragon. And until next time, it's Ridea keeping it real.